Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Happy Monday. Today we've got news about the Summon Rush that's starting tomorrow. And it looks like actually I was definitely right about my advice to skip the earlier Summon Rush in the Fusion and to save for this one. Instead, we're going to be breaking down the champion. It's very, very good. We've got a Summon Pool event. We'll break down the Summon Pool first and then we'll go. I'm glad I'm able to make this video for you. I've been called into jury duty, which is, yeah, it's quite an experience. So I was in there today, but wasn't selected for a jury. So I don't know. I think I have to go in all week. It's really quite unclear. But yeah, that's like a whole thing. So there we go. Anyway, this Spirit Summon Pool, we'll cover this first, then we'll cover the Summon Rush for tomorrow. This one started yesterday, and it's actually pretty good if you're going for the legendaries. I think the Cheshire Cat is really strong. His A1 in particular, I did a full showcase on him, and he really blew me away. Like, I compared him to Razelvarg, and he radically outdamaged Razelvarg in a Hydra team, and Razelvarg's really good for Hydra. This guy has a ton of potential, and he's quite a fun champion for Arena as well. So I think he's actually pretty cool. Then we've got, I think, equally good legendaries really in here in the pool as well. Duchess, great. Feral, extremely good. Calvalax, maybe a bit older. Nekmothar, great. He's come back again for Chimera. Ragash is a decent damage dealer. A Snicktrack, very similar to Nekmothar for Hydra, for Chimera. Podrick, brilliant ally attack. Kyoku, again, sort of like Calvalax, she's only okay. Sort of okay ally protector. Can be an AoE burner as well. They're a good selection of champions. And then we've got very solid epics in there as well. Melga is great. Morag is great. Phoenix, great damage dealers. Melga, a reviver, not a damage dealer to clarify. Ruella, great debuffer. Yeah, it's a good selection. Magnar, good damage. Wiranon, good for faction wars. Ornn, good for solo stuff. Anax, clan boss, blah, 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 blah. It's a decent selection of stuff. You can pick up some free pulls from the Sand Devil tournament that's on right now. I would recommend possibly waiting till later in the week, right? I would not pull this right now. There might be a champion chase tournament at the weekend. I'm not sure if this is going to overlap it. Let's say we'll be down to 2 days, Tuesday, 1 day on Wednesday, 0 days on Thursday. I think it might end before Friday kicks in with an actual event. It's possible they might overlap. I think there's no harm in holding on and waiting just in case. But I think they might have started it a day early so that it doesn't overlap. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. No need to rush on those pulls anyway. We don't have CVC or anything. Now, the other thing that's happening is Summon Rush. Now, if we jump over to our event calendar, we can see there's the Sand Devil, which is ongoing still. And we've got some stuff ending early tomorrow. The Sand Devil does have those Prism Crystals in there for the Summon Pool. We've got Summon Rush, and that, which is actually giving champion fragments. Oh yeah, because it's part of the Mad Hatter Fusion, duh. And we've got a big, very long Dungeon Divers, and then we've got a whole lot of nothing. It is certainly very, very possible that a Titan event could kick in. And this is piece of advice number one I would give is be careful about summoning for this Summon Rush on day one, because there might be a Titan event afterwards. But what is happening with this? And this is where things, definitely I'd be waiting until the second part of this. Possibly. There's a little problem, though. We'll see. Tuesday, 21st of January. This is part of why we're definitely right to wait for this Summon Rush. It's an extra legendary event for Sacred Shards. So we've got a Summon Rush that can be part of your fusion. You could have skipped Champion Chase and Summon Rush to do this, and you get an extra legendary on top of a good 15x event. Fantastic. Let's go. The extra legendary event lasts for 48 hours, and then we've got 2 different 24 hours 15x events. On Tuesday, we've got Fina, Blade of Aravia. She would be a high choice for me. She's the faction unity for High Elves. Elva Autumnborn, Oberden Clanfather, Kaja the Rye, Manaya, then Cardial and Tremeria from Voids. Elva, obviously, very, very, very good for Chimera. Oberden, very, very good for Chimera. Kaja, I think, is actually pretty darn underrated as a speed booster in Arena. I think she's solid. Manaya, I would not really go for. Cardial is very, very good. Ally attack cleansers. Yeah, I put him, maybe a bit higher than Kaja overall. And Tremeria did get a buff recently. Tremeria is definitely worth considering after her buff if you have the faction unity for the Dark Elves, right? This guy, he stops everyone from getting any buffs. He block buffs at the start of the round if you have a full Dark Elf team, and it can't be resisted. You can't stop it. But then what do? This is where Tremeria comes in with a very strong speed aura, which you could use instead of Zyklek's one. He's got a good one as well. But if you really want to go first, you could put her in. It's probably not worth it. You probably use his. But she does come in with AoE stun and turn meter pushback. So that's very strong, right? They cannot have Stone Skin. They cannot have block buffs. Block debuffs if you have this full Dark Elf team. So that can be very strong. You've got Zyklek, and you have her as your fastest champion. That's a powerful combo. Mithrala could be certainly a bit of a counter, having too much resistance, and she cleanses it off. But yeah, it's a powerful thing for Dark Elves for Arena. You could have as well very fast Lanicus to come in and turn meter boost you. There's stuff you can do, interesting stuff with her. I think Tremeria, with her buff, is number one, stronger than she was before, a lot stronger. Turn meter boost with the cleanse, block debuffs, good. But she's also doubly strong because of Zyklek, and there's not too many other top tier champs from her faction to pair up with Zyklek. That's sort of what's valuable about her. I wouldn't be rushing out to get her otherwise. Like, she's decent, but not crazy. And that's sort of my thought on day one. I really like getting the faction unity champs. They're very strong, and Fina in particular is very strong. She has proven herself again and again with Trunda, right? Getting more turn meter, increased attack, crit rate, crit damage, all the buffs you need, and then giving block debuffs, block damage, counter attack, and resetting skills. So Fina is still really strong with Trunda. She's really powerful in general. There's the possibility for some interesting high elf teams. I think the problem with trying to do like high elf teams in Siege or something is Galathir is probably as good as like the next best 3 champions in high elves combined. Like, he is that broken. So yeah, if you don't have Galathir, it's pretty tough to consider a Siege team. If you do have Galathir plus Fina, very strong basis. Prisma is decent now as well. They're still lacking, I would say, a good arena damage dealer for this faction. Like Supreme Elhain, she's okay. Ethlin, early game, he's good. But like for a big, beefy late game damage dealer, on the level of like a Siegfried or something like that, like we don't have anything close. So that is a downside there. But Fina, I'm probably going to pull for Fina myself. I think that's what I'm going to be targeting. I would love to get a Fina. And yeah, because you got an extra legendary, you should get one hit on, if you hit a legendary, you should get one pop on 15x, and then a second pop on 20x. And then if you're going further, because it's the summon rush, you potentially could hit a 25x, which I think makes it really nice. It's a good event. On Wednesday, Acelin the Stalwart. He's the Bannerlords faction unity. I don't think he's as good, but he's okay. And, still strong, again, with Bannerlords. It's a good faction, and it's I would say the problem with this faction is that Taras and Marichka, if you're like me and you don't have Taras and Marichka, the faction's quite a bit weaker. Maybe they will buff Raglan at some point, then it becomes a lot more interesting. Quintus is very good. Baron is still good. You do have Kaja and Timid in there. Rhonda is good too. Staltis, not bad. Like, you've got some good options, but again, in terms of faction, Siege, battles, Taras and Marichka really, really dominate. I think Acelin is okay. He can be good to go with them, and it's a very viable team. But you do sort of need 2 premium Void Legendary, shall we say. Elikath is very strong if you need a clan boss team. Brogni is also good if you need a clan boss team. I am definitely interested in trying Brogni some more for Chimera. I think he's, he always shows up as decent. Oh my god, go away. Stop trying to sell me shit. He pop-up ads in Raid, now in real life. You can't escape him. Brogni, very interesting for Chimera. So, I probably should rate him a bit lower. I do think Brogni is maybe a bit overrated, perhaps, because of his performance in Demon Lord Clan Boss, which is, for most people, I'm rating Helikath pretty high. Helikath, at least, I don't know. Am I being unfair here? Maybe a little bit. Let's see. Brogni, potential for Chimera. Classically, super OP for Demon Lord. Was OP for a while in Hydra, and then they nerfed Corpulent Cadaver. Yeah, Brogni, he's got some potential for Chimera. I'm interested. Maybe a little overrated as a champion in terms of, people saying that he was one of the best legendaries of all time. I don't know if he's really held on to that title of best of all time. White Queen Ancora, I think, is phenomenal. She's really, really good for arena in particular, and just anywhere you need to stay alive. Like I was actually running around like a hard dragon team with stock. It's just quite fun. Let me show you. I did a regearing video when we were messing around with some dragon stuff. I was having some fun with like a sort of poison team. It's great, and some food. So a couple of food champs. Oh, sorry, it was Ice Golem. We threw her into Ice Golem with these guys to make it 100%. I was like, okay, it works, but we can't bring any food champions in by throwing in the Ancora. It's kind of fun. Some stock. I might do another video on stock soon when I finish leveling them up and whatnot. I think Ancora is great. And you get Narcisse, they're a classic combo. Very powerful. Archbishop Pinthroy, I feel like he's been a disappointment. I really liked him. I felt like he was a Spirit Affinity Ugo. And this leads us to our biggest, he's in this faction, our biggest problem with him, which is Spirit Affinity Ugo. Very useful for Hydra, right? It's another affinity to cover for the rotations where Spirit is good and Magic is bad. And that's the exact problem. They've never changed the Hydra rotations. I doubt they ever will. And the way the Hydra rotations are set up, there is like one, maybe a second one where it's a bit questionable. That's it, where Pinthroy is better than Ugo. It's really underwhelming. And there's 6 rotations. It's very underwhelming. So 5 times out of 6, you're probably better off just running the damn Epic, which is a little bit unfortunate. He has some potential against Fire Knight, especially Fire Knight in Cursed City, where you're limited on your roster because the increased defense with the Faultless Defense Blessing can reflect damage, knock pips off his shield. He's got the heal reduction here, which is good for that. Yeah, I will say I was a fan of Pinthroy, and he has disappointed me over time. And yeah, I feel like it's mostly to do with the rotation stuff. Like if they, that decreased defense debuff from Ugo is just very solid, and her affinity is simply better for Hydra much more often. It's a bit sad. Marichka, well worth pulling, super good Void, and Emic is very solid as well. That's sort of my opinion on that. I would say from the Voids, I think Marichka is the clear and undisputed winner. She is by far the best one up for grabs. If you don't have her, she'd be the one to go for. Just has remained absolute top tier in Arena. If you get a Taurus, they're obviously still super relevant as a duo in general. But an amazing speed aura, which is super strong in Siege. Pretty much the best heal and shield in the game with the cleanse. Her passive protects from bombs, burns, poisons. Yeah, it's a phenomenal defensive passive to keep you alive. And the best revive in the game, right? Just no cooldown, full team revive. It's very strong. So Marichka remains incredibly good. Emic is obviously good for some sort of cheese, quote unquote, cheese teams. Obviously slightly weaker for Hydra in terms of the taunt stuff doesn't work anymore, but the cooldown reduction stuff still does. Very good for Shogun, Iron Twins, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff. Bronco's got about 10 million videos on Emic Trunk Art. So you can watch those if you want to learn more about Emic. I think he is solid, but I'd definitely be going for Marichka myself. And yeah, again, I do feel like Fina stands out. I think if you need Elva, I think Elva is very, very good for Chimera. I think Galathier is better. And I think Senna is better. But if you've got Senna, Operdin becomes really valuable, right? Especially if you don't have Androck, because you're going to prefer to have someone that can cleanse and block the debuffs. They're quite nasty. And Operdin's throwing out lots of continuous heals. So yeah, I think you've got options here. For me, Fina, that's what I'm going for. And I mean, if we cash out on the Sacreds early, I don't know. I might pull some Voids for Marichka instead. I'm not expecting really to get either of them. But it's an okay gamble. Again, it's still a small chance. Like, I don't know, off the top of my head, say I pull until I hit the extra legendary event. I'll say there's maybe a 1 in 4 chance to pick up a Fina. And that's being generous. Maybe it's 1 in 5. It's not great. It's a pretty low chance. Do expect many more times than not you will not get the champion you're after, but it's still worth a gamble. I think if you've got a good stockpile of Sacreds and you need it for the fusion anyway, which is me. So yeah, it's looking good. Also worth noting, guys, you do get 100% more event points than usual for summoning from Ancient Shards, which is also really nice. So I think this is a great summon rush if you need it for the fusion. Fantastic. Extra legendary event from Sacreds. They're great. Voids, 15x for Marichka is decent on the Wednesday. And Yeah, boosted Ancients. Like, there's good champs in there from Ancients. So, all good, really. You know, there's and bonus points from Ancients. So, yeah, lots of ways to do it. I wouldn't pull the Primals. And pretty much one thing to watch out for. There may be, we do not know yet because, like I said, it's not there. There may be a Titan event. It's possible, like an Alice in Wonderland, whatever, Alice's Adventure Titan event. It's very possible. Could give a Mad Hatter soul. He's a great champion. It would be pretty nice. That might kick off tomorrow. It's possible. It also might kick off on Wednesday. It also might kick off after this Summon Rush. It might be like, ooh, get all your points for the Summon Rush, and then, haha, Thursday, boom, we've got a new event. Huzzah! It's a Titan event, and there's a Champion Chase tournament kicking it off right away. Go, go, go. Or there's a huge Heroes Path for summoning right away for this Titan event. All of that is very possible. We don't know anything about it right now. So that's one thing to watch out for. For me, I need this for Mad Hatter. I am going for it. If you do not need to do this for Mad Hatter, it's still a very good event, and that makes me suspicious about what is coming afterwards. And like I said, I am definitely suspicious that the Thursday is when we might see a kickoff. Because yes, the Spirit Summon Pool does end on Thursday, so I think you can still summon on the Thursday. I could be wrong. But yeah, we might easily see a Hero's Path. Maybe on the Thursday, maybe the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We could see a Titan event starting on like Thursday. I'd be very suspicious about what is coming this weekend. And if you care about the Mad Hatter Soul, you might be better off. That's my best guess for what could be in a Titan event. What else could they put in? We've already got an Alice Soul, and then the other champions are too rare. I think giving away... They could give away a guaranteed... I think the Knave of Hearts is probably the least hyped champion, so I could see a guaranteed Knave of Hearts either from a Hero's Path. I could easily see that, or a Deck of Fate. Potentially a big Titan event, potentially like a second fusion. I could see Knave of Hearts as a reward. Queen of Hearts, too strong. She's the chase legendary. She'll just be in a summon pool at some point, and maybe a 2x voids, 10x summon, something like that. She could be in a summon event this weekend. Who the heck knows? I think they'll definitely be pumping some summon events for her. She's not going to be a guarantee. I'd be shocked if she was a guaranteed, frankly. And Cheshire Cat, it seems like, is sort of a chase legendary as well. There we go. That's what's happening. Let me know what you think about this. Which one are you going for? Like I said, for me, I think I'll go all in on Fina tomorrow with Sacreds. I've got 22 Sacreds. I don't know. I've got 144 Void. What I might do is I might pull Sacreds until I hit the extra legendary, because I'm close. I think we pulled 17 Sacreds in a row last time with no legendary. So my Mercy system is hella stacked. So we'll definitely pull for an extra legendary, and then we'll see. Could pull a few more Sacreds, chasing the 25x for Fina, or I could pull some Voids, chasing a Marichka. Unlikely to get either one, of course. They're just sort of balancing the shards for me. I could even pull some Ancients so that I walk away in a good position if they do drop a guaranteed event, that I'll have enough of any given shard type to cover it, is sort of my plan. I will catch you for that tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.